This is NL10 Podcast number 18 with me, your host, Nathan Lowry. Man, it has been about a month since I have seen you guys. Our last full podcast was with Vince Boss, the associate pastor over there at Antioch Baptist Church. And it was a great time talking about excuses in life and everything. And boy, that was actually a really fun podcast for me. That was a very eye-opening podcast for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed it well. We've had a lot of great guests. Wes McIsaac talking about his battles with GBS and how he got through that, to the senior pastor at Antioch Baptist being Trent McLaughlin, talking about leadership and where we are as men and learning how to be leaders and effective leaders and what all that comes with. And then following up with Vince, like I said, with the podcast that we did about excuses, man, it's been this thing has been awesome, dude. And I followed it up with a Hot Works video, which that was actually really fun. I've really enjoyed doing that a lot, my personal self. But me being away for a month there is a lot of reasons for that, and I actually want to get into a lot of this today. I want to be really open and honest with you guys. So, we haven't done a podcast by ourselves in a little while, to say the least, probably about 2 months or so now since we've done that. And I want today to be a day that we kind of come together and we kind of talk a little bit, because there's been a lot that has been happening in my life ever since the clock struck 12 a.m. on 2025. It's been quite the time. And today, I don't know what I really want to title this as I'm sitting here, just now getting into this thing and talking to you guys. But I kind of want to title this something. I've got dust. I saw dust on my monitor right here above the camera, and I had to knock the dust off because that would it would make me feel weird if I didn't. But I'm going to run out of coffee today. I already know that much now. I'm going to go ahead and try to sip some of that up before it gets extremely, extremely cold. But perseverance is one thing, I guess I could maybe call this thing. I don't know. We're going to come up with a title of this thing as we go through this podcast. But I want to tell you guys about what's been happening with me over, like I said, since the clock struck 2025. I want to start to the beginning. I want to start from there and work all the way until now. And there's a series of events that I haven't spoken about publicly at all to anybody. And I kind of just want to get it out because I have learned a lot at a very fast pace, to say the least, over these last 7, almost 8 months now that we've been in to 2025. And maybe this will help you. Maybe somebody finds himself in a very similar situation to where I've been in, and maybe this helps somebody, or maybe this is for somebody that's getting ready to go through something similar, like I've experienced, and they're hearing this at a good time, because when the things start falling, maybe it'll kind of keep them cool, calm, and collected a little bit throughout this entire thing. But in late December, I started dating somebody at that time. And if you guys know, I run not only this channel, but this channel wasn't going at that point in time. I hadn't even created it yet. But I was also doing the Hill Brothers as well, the North Carolina podcast with my brother that we've been doing for 2 years next month, as a matter of fact, in August. Boy, it's been a long time since we started that. It's pretty cool to see all this coming together. But I started dating somebody, and we dated each other for a little while. And so I was attending at a church, and that I still attend now, Antioch Baptist Church in Lancaster. You guys have saw basically a lot of what's going on over there through this podcast as well. But I had been attending that church for about 2.5 years at that point in time. No, about just over 2 years at that time. And I hadn't really got involved, if you will. When the person that kind of shows up on a Sunday, not really on Sunday night, never on a Wednesday night. I just showed up on Sunday mornings and, did my thing. And that was it. I didn't get involved. And I'd kind of always wanted to, but Contrary to popular belief, I am not the most outgoing individual. People think very otherwise of me, but I'm really not. I'm pretty much I'm cool being around the people that I know, and that's just kind of it for me, And if I get introduced to people through other acquaintances of mine, then I'll kind of start to branch out. But for the most part, I'm kind of a very kept to myself kind of person. Obviously, this forum completely blows that out the water, but I'm not talking to people. I mean, I am, but I'm not doing it as we're speaking right now. I'm talking to a camera and the microphone's here, and it's just me and my very nice lit up room. Is basically what it is. But sure enough, I had never been a part of doing anything. The woman I was seeing is in the church, and she was on what we call our praise team or whatnot, kind of leads worship and the singing portion of each service. And with being around her, I was introduced to a lot of people that I had saw, of course, but I knew nothing about. I didn't know, them from Adam's house cat, to say the least. So when I got around her, I was like, I kind of felt like I was being nudged. Maybe God's telling me like, hey, you need to go get involved. But what do I do? I'm not person just to insert myself into random things. But sure enough, I got involved. There was an event that was getting ready to take place. This is I think this is early January. I'm thinking early January of 2025. Yeah, early January. Had an event with a famous bass fisherman, Hank Parker. If anybody knows that name, he was coming to our church. He's actually become a good friend of our pastors, and he was coming to there. He was gonna do this whole big event, share his testimony, talk bass fishing, all kinds of cool stuff on the one. And I just said, hey, why not bump it? I'll go do whatever. The preacher said, hey man, I really need some people that really help out that day. Who could be there? I'm like, hey, I'll be there. No problem. You just tell me what to do. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. I was nervous as I'll get out showing up that day. Like I said, I don't know. I've been going to church with these people for 2 years. Hadn't really talked to anybody at all outside of the people you saw on this podcast, Vince and Trent himself. Outside of that, I knew nobody. And I go and do this event. They put me with a guy named Chris, and I was helping parking cars. And through helping parking cars, I sure enough started to meet people within the church. And the church became, which was very big to me at that point in time, became very small in that day, because I got to meet a lot of people and talk to them, actually have conversations with them. And, it was an awkward conversation. It was legit fun, good conversation. It was a great time. But later on that day, I got asked, I met somebody else who was the leader of our media team. And he still is, David Rollins. This dude's awesome, man. I love that guy. And sure enough, me and him got to chit-chatting. He knew of me, and he knew what I did. And he asked me if I'd be a part of the media team, or asked me if I'd come up and see if I'd be interested to try it out. Sure enough, I did. Well, needless to say, I'm still a part of that media team, and I very much enjoyed doing that up there. It's a lot of fun, and honestly, it's fed a lot into what we're doing right now, right here. That media team, being a part of it, has led me to right where I am right now in this moment. But hold on to that, because later on, in early part of February, if I remember correctly, yes, that is the about early part of February, me and the woman that we're dating stopped dating. All right. And not a very fun time at that time. It was interesting, and to say the least. And honestly, if I didn't have that media team, I don't know where I'd have been, quite frankly. So I was in a place in my life where, you know, really involved in a relationship. It got stopped immediately. Was not fun at all, to say the least. And I couldn't stand the work I was doing, like my actual job. I was a UPS driver, right? And I think I've mentioned this a couple of times in these podcasts. Maybe, I don't know. But sure enough, I I was in a place in my life I was just not happy at all. I was miserable. I was extremely, extremely miserable. I hit it well. I tried to. Maybe I did. Maybe somebody's gonna listen to this that knows me. Like, yeah, right, dude. Yeah. It was clearly on your face, brother. Which it wouldn't surprise me to say the least. But let's say I was miserable. Um, and the only thing I had was that media team. That was it. That's all I had. That and the good Lord himself. And it felt like there was times where he felt like he was, hard to get a hold of, to say the least. But sure enough, as time went on, the next month went on, we got into the month of March. I began to heal a lot. I will say it felt like uh, the hand of God was over me, man. I really felt like that I was healing, and it was not by anything that I was doing. It was all because of what He was doing, and it was beautiful to see. I can't fully explain it, um, and I won't bore you with all the details, but it was amazing to see. But I was still in a place in my life I was not happy with my job. I did not feel like I was doing anything worthwhile or with meaning, and I had a big problem with that. But also, the thing about it is, UPS, and I don't want to talk bad about UPS today at all. It is a job that, if it is something you think you would like to do, I would say go do it. It pays very well, and the benefits are out of this world. They're absolutely amazing. So I would encourage anybody that thinks that they would like, delivering and whatnot, go after it, man. I'm not saying it's meaningless work. I'm saying for me, it felt meaningless, and everybody's different. Everybody finds meaning in different things. So you may be one of those people that really enjoy that kind of thing, and that's nothing wrong with that at all. For me, it had run its course, and I was upset, didn't like that at all. But I was really starting to heal, and I was really starting to get back into who I felt like I was, truly, like down to my core. Um, Being in that media team, revitalized me in a lot of different ways, because it, made me realize like what kind of love and passion that I have for doing this kind of thing. And not just this. There's a ton of other things that I love doing in this field that, I want to, go further into, sometime down the road, maybe, or honestly, quite frankly, in the near future, considering some of the conversations that I've been having as of late. I'll get to that soon too. But sure enough, I've really enjoyed doing that, and I got to meet some really cool people, and I got involved in church, and the church kind of became like what my world revolved around, and um, it was a really good thing that was going on, and I started to see these little accomplishments, coming my way. And we got to early April, and sure enough, the video that you guys saw in here, I got to buy my dream truck. I didn't. I never always wanted an F-150. I honestly didn't know if I was ever going to have one. And to see the way that deal came together, I cannot express to you guys. Like, when I say that was the perfect deal, it was the perfect deal, to say the very, very least. Honestly, I feel like I basically stole that truck for the price that I paid for it and everything, and what they gave me for my truck. It was oh, dude, it was ridiculous, ridiculously cool, man. And it's just one of those rare things, dude, that just happened. And man, I kind of felt like I was getting back on top of the world. Like, man, like, okay, life is going good. And I'm getting back into the podcast some more, and let's get it going. And April the 8th happened. 9th. Technically the 8th, but it really happened on the 9th. April 9th, I was suspended from UPS. And there was no timetable on it. There was kind of a timetable. We kind of knew what it was going to be. We originally thought it was going to be a 30-day suspension. And I'm not going to go into the details of what happened. Nothing crazy happened, I promise. But sure enough, it kind of felt like things were coming to a head over there. And it eventually it did. And sure enough, the thing I had been silently asking God for a long time is get me away from here, get me away from here, get me away from here, get me away. Just please, for the love of God, just get me out of here. Happened. And it shook me because my entire nest egg, my comfortability spot, all of it was gone. In the suspension, I knew I was coming back. I did not know exactly when, and it was very unclear. We kind of had an idea of a time frame, anywhere from 30 to 45 days. We figured more or less it was going to be on that 30 end, not as not as long. But that was 2-3 days after I bought my truck, so I'm nervous, but I'm not at the same time. When that happened, I went home and I remember I made a pot of coffee, as a matter of fact, because it's coffee. I'm a coffee guy. I really am. But I went home and something told me my life was getting ready to change drastically. When I walked out of the building that morning, heading back into my truck, I was talking to my we're unionized over there, so I was talking to my shop stewards, both of my shop stewards actually. And one of them said something to me. He says, "Nathan, go home and go get your mind right." Okay. And I know what he was trying to say, like, "Hey, get your mind right, come back to work, and then do your job the best you possibly can." That's what he was kind of going for. But I took it a completely different way, and I remembered what he said that day when he said, "Hey, go get your mind right," because I knew I wasn't happy. And let me just say this now: there are a lot of people in this world, myself included. I know I'm not alone in this boat, that cannot stand what they do on a day-to-day 9 to 5, but they're blessed like me. Like I couldn't stand what I was doing, but I was blessed. I had it paid very well and the benefits were off the chain, man. But you're comfortable, so you don't move. And that's a dangerous spot to be in, because if you stay comfortable, you could potentially have a lot of regret and feel like you missed your opportunity to do something that you always wanted to do, no matter what that is. And for me, it felt like that was coming. But the problem was I did not know exactly what in the world I want to go do. I have an idea of a range, but I could not pinpoint it, right? And I don't know what to do. So my work is gone. No money, no income. Benefits got cut off that day too. So what do I got to do? Surprisingly, I was fairly calm about it. Everybody else was worried about me, and I can understand why, considering just bought this brand new truck. You got bills, and all of a sudden you ain't got no income. What are you gonna do? Uh, so that was a question I asked myself. Now, thankfully, I had a little bit of change built up, to say the least. So I knew I had a small window, probably around. It was early April, May. I knew I had about a 2-month window of, okay, I know I'm going back to work 30 to 45 days. So it was working day. So I knew that would get me through that time. Right. So during that time, I kind of sat back and I relaxed and I just chilled out, and it started to just ponder on things. I could come up with no answers. Prayed about it, like, hey, like, God, what am I supposed to do? When am I supposed to go here? Kind of felt like everything was just silent. Silent, but also a calming factor of you're gonna be fine. Well, what does that mean? What I'm gonna be fine? What does that mean? So you kind of get frustrated, right? You get frustrated. You kind of get aggravated. Um, it was really good being away from work because I had built up so much frustration and aggravation just from work and things that were going on. And I never, I didn't know that it affected me as much as it did. And being away from work really kind of just took the edge off of me. Surprisingly, though, like it surprisingly took the edge off of me. You would think out of work, no money, no money incoming, things that you probably have a little edge to you because you're trying to figure out what the flip you're gonna do. But for me, it was completely different. It was way different than I had ever experienced before. So I kind of just enjoyed it, and I quit. I thought about what I wanted to do. It was still a thought process, but I really just stopped making it like a priority. Like, I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out. And then if you know anything about me, I'm very much to use a sports analogy, I like having the ball in my hands. I like, kind of having that control a little bit. I feel like if I can get my handle on things, then everything's gonna be fine. I'll be good. But this was one I didn't have a handle on, and I just had to give it up, and that was a hard thing to do. And I just asked I just asked God a question. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do right now? Just tell me what you want me to go do right now. And a very clear answer came to me. Go get more involved. Okay. Go get more involved. I'm like, ooh, church. Okay. We were in the middle of the Easter series during that time. So they were putting up sets throughout the week and things of that nature. So I just went with them, and I just started getting involved and involved and involved and more involved and more involved. I didn't know why I felt like God was telling me to do that, but it's what he was saying. Hey, go get more involved every day. And it felt like I got up and it was like, okay, go get involved. Go help my people out. Go help the church out. Okay, well, all right, whatever. This is what we're going to go do. And it led to David. I told you that brought me into the media team. He's like, hey man, we cut grass over here at the church on like Friday mornings, sometimes Saturday mornings. Would you be able to help, or would you be willing to help? Sure. Yeah, no problem. So sure enough, I just got my lawnmower, got the trailer, drove over there, and then just started cutting the grass on Fridays and Saturdays, right? Whatever day it was. Sometimes it's Fridays, sometimes it's Saturdays, sometimes it's both days. But we just started going in and cutting grass. That is something I still do to this day as well. And it was a way for me to just get more involved, get around, good people, man, really, really good people. And I started cutting the grass and doing that. And grass cutting for me, and it's been this way since I was a kid. I've been cutting grass since I was a very small child. And something about cutting grass to me has been therapeutic. It allows me to kind of just, I don't know. It allows me to relax in a way that is, I don't know. It's kind of unreal, to say the least. Just when I get on the lawnmower and I can just pop my earbuds in and just ride for a while, I don't know. I just mellow out to a completely different level. And this is the first time I had actually been able to cut grass in almost 5 years. 3 years, sorry. 3 years. Since I started working for UPS, because when you work for UPS, you don't, like, you're on the go during the day. And when you get home, it's later in the evening, so grass time's basically over with, so what are you gonna do? So sure enough, I hadn't really been able to cut grass, and that's taken away a therapy for me, I guess you could say, and getting back on that lawnmower. And then our churchyard's fairly big. I cut it by myself one day, and it took me 13 hours. It's crazy big. So I had a lot of time to kind of just mellow out, and I did that every week. And I started, and as I was working with the media team on Sundays, something started to happen. Switch kind of started to this is going to sound, so I'm a SpongeBob guy, right? There's an episode, I know I'm about to go into some straight SpongeBob logic. I hope you're excited for this. But there's an episode of SpongeBob where Patrick loses his head, and he has one put on, and he's a starfish, and there's this thing that there's like multiple of his heads. I know this sounds so stupid. I promise you, if you watched it, it would make a little bit more sense. Right now, I can't really explain it as well as it needs to be. But sure enough, there's like an image that they show where like his brain just kind of starts working again, and it felt like that's what was happening to me. It felt like my brain, my enthusiasm, my enthusiasm, I can't say that word right. My enthusiasm, my motivation, my passion start churning again. And it kind of helps me to realize some things that I missed doing. And so I started going back to the like my college days. I started rewatching some videos from there, and I could see like I was on a path to do some stuff, and I got off that path. Pretty dumb reasons, to say the least. But sure enough, I got off of that path and got away from it. Started working for UPS, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not. I don't truly believe that's what I'm supposed to be doing, personally. Um, so I kind of started researching myself. If that makes sense. Studying myself, like where where did I go wrong here? What did I go wrong? Was I supposed to do all this stuff the entire time? These are things I'm asking God at the same time. Like, what do I do here? Why am I in this situation? What got me here? Where am I supposed to be going? And God was still very quiet. He wouldn't answer me. But it felt like he kept saying, keep researching. Go look back at yourself. See where you've come from. See where you are. And that was all I had. So I kept doing that. I kept rewatching all the stuff of mine, and I kind of just followed myself from like 2016 all the way up to now, and where I'm at right now. And it didn't add up. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, okay, like this is where I'm getting frustrated, because I'm like, okay, I was. If you guys don't know me, I'll briefly say, in 2016 I joined Learn TV. I was in high school, right, and I joined Learn TV. Learn TV was it was a class, but it was also a business, and it was a TV studio where they taught you basic broadcast journalism. That was the class, it was the course, and there was broadcast journalism 1, 2, and 3, maybe. I think there actually may have been four technical classes. I think it was 4 semesters. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. I took it for 4 semesters, right? And sure enough, it was a class, but it actually turned into a job for me, because that's where I started doing the sports commentary that Tori, that's been on this channel before, the earlier podcast, if you will, on like episode 7, I think episode 10 of this podcast, he was on. That is where we met, and we did TV shows there together, and we did commentary together, which led me to York Tech, and I got a degree in teleproductions from York Technical College in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And then the second I graduated, I went to UPS. I was supposed to sign with ESPN coming out of York Tech. I didn't. Something told me not to. Could have been God. I don't know. And I didn't do that. I went to UPS and just started working, because I didn't have a job and I needed a job, so I started working there. Right. So that catches me up to now. But sure enough, I had went and started researching myself, and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm aggravated. I don't know what to do. And David comes to me again and says, hey, man, I have another yard that you can cut if you want to, a local business here in our town. And I'm like, okay, cool. So come to find out, he says, oh, I'll pay you for that yard over there. Okay, cool. Also, he comes up to me one day. It was on my birthday. All right. So this is about a month into unemployment, if you will. Right around my birthday, I'm cutting the grass at the church, and David rolls up to me, and he says, hey, I got the money for that business, that you were cutting. I'll bring it to you. Cool, no problem. And I'm cutting grass, and he hands me an envelope, one of those bank envelopes. And he says, also, there's some in there for the church. I'm like, huh? I don't. I grew up all the time. Like, I don't. You never, like, church members just did that for as volunteer work to make sure the church grounds look good. I was on. Well, that was the impression I was under. He's like, no, nope, they pay me, so I'm paying you. I'm like, dude, you gotta pay me. He said, no, just how about this? He said, take it this time, and just let it be a blessing for you right now, considering. Because David knew me, and David had talked, and I told him about everything. I said, okay. The reason I said okay, it was a couple days before then. I had gotten a call from my work. They brought me in for a meeting, and they basically told me, hey, your suspension is being pushed out to 60 days, and you're coming back on an agreement that if anything ever happens again, you're immediately out the door, no questions asked, you're done. Okay. If you know anything about, if there's any UPS employees here, you know that's a ticking time bomb. Everybody gets in trouble. Everybody gets in trouble at some point in time. That's just what it is. That's just the nature of the beast. Any union jobs are basically like that. And you guys that are unionized, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I was a little down on my luck, and when my birthday, which is in early May, happened, I really started to think about myself a lot. Like, I just turned 25. I'm like, man, 25. For some reason, something just felt different that day. I'm like, I have to do something different with my life. Like, I need to go do something. So that drive was just like, okay. I felt like God was telling me, like, hey, it's your life's getting ready to change. I hope you know that. And that's the thought in the back of my head. I don't know what's going on here. Right. A number of weeks go by. Matter of fact, the whole month of May goes by. Early June happens. June? What month are we in? Or in July. That's right. So early June happens. Last day of May. Very last day of May. It's a Friday, right? Yeah. May the 28th, I think it was. Yeah, May the 28th goes. So I've been out of work since April the 8th. I get to May 28th. I'm at a place in my life. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. I'm confused. I remember I researched myself. I kind of understood who the heck I was a little bit. And I'm still trying to figure out, now understanding who I was and where I've been. The question still remains, where the flip am I going? Like, what am I doing? Like, I am still out of work. I have no money coming in. And, you know, God used the church, me getting involved, me being willing to get involved, to go and just be involved in the church, as a way, as some type of revenue coming in. Because every week I was getting some money to come in, just by cutting some grass and whatnot. And that was cutting grass was therapy for me. I'm like, man, for a guy that's been out of work for this long, I'm feeling pretty blessed to say that, I've been taken care of, But sure enough, I was getting very confused as to where I was supposed to be going, what I'm supposed to be doing, and the date for me to get going. So I was supposed to go back to UPS on July the 2nd. That's what the day they told me, okay, July 2nd will be 60 days, 60 working days from the time that you were put on suspension. You come back on July the 2nd. So, like, the clock is ticking, and I'm getting to July 2nd. I'm halfway there, right? And May 28th comes. I get a phone call that morning. It's David. He wakes me up early Friday morning. Man, what the flip is David calling me this early in the morning for? So I pick up the phone. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, dude, what's up? I said, not much. I just woke up. He says, oh, okay. He says, well, I got a guy that I know pretty well. He says, I've told you of him before, especially if we've had any mixer issues, issues with our mixer at the church and the media team. He says, but this guy, and I won't name his name here, but he says he does some work that lines up pretty perfectly with what you're into. Talking about all this. And he says he's looking for somebody to kind of help him out. He said he just lost a guy and kind of looking for a replacement. Really? He says, yeah. He said, I said, I told him about you. He says, but I said, I wanted to come to you first because he wanted your number, but I figured I didn't know if this is something maybe you may be interested in or not. I know you got UPS coming back up in, just over a month. So I figured I'd just toss it out there to you. I was like, shoot, give me his phone number. And David sent me over his phone number and he told me, he's like, hey, he sets up, media stuff for churches, media systems. He, deals with a lot of different things in that realm. I'm like, man, that kind of sounds cool. I'm working with this stuff all the time. It'd be kind of cool to see, how the big stuff like conference rooms for businesses and courthouses and things of that nature and security cameras and audio, video, all kinds of stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool to see how this stuff's all set up on like the big leagues, I guess you could say. Okay, shoot, why not? Okay. So I got the phone number, and I have never cold called somebody for a job. Ever. Never have I ever done that. I was kind of always thought like, yeah, I'd never do that. I'd never do that. But sure enough, I found myself in a situation. I quickly asked myself, I'm like, should I do this? And it felt like there was something just overwhelmingly inside me that says, Nathan, call him. Call the guy. Just call him. Just call him. Got if that's you. Okay. So I give him a phone call. Guy picks up. We talk for about 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I'm starting that following Monday. It was the quickest interview I have ever went through in my life. And he told me, he's like, hey, next week, if you want to come in and, you can give it as a test run. And then you'll be off the following week because I'm out of town. My other guy, he's out of town. So he'll be out of town, but you get a week to work. You have a week off to kind of think about it. And if you want to come back, then we're on from there. Cool. No problem. Test trial. What do I got to lose? Screw it. Get there and started work. And we started, going to different locations and working on these things, from security cameras to setting up a home theater in somebody's house, which is really flipping cool, by the way. To setting up stuff at churches, these media systems at churches, to learning about all kinds of different little small electronic things you don't even think much about, like the handicap button that you press to go into like a doctor's office. We set up one of those, and I started learning about basic electricity, actually, and also it's a mix of a lot of different things. I was learning some basic construction, some basic electricity, more stuff about what I'm doing here. I learned a lot of stuff, right? I'm like, this is really cool. Now, here's the deal. It was, if I wanted to stay there, it was going to be based off my UPS money, which I knew was, if I went back on July the 2nd, I would be getting. It was a little bit about a 60 to 65% decrease in money. It's a lot. It's a ton, actually. And maybe even a little bit bigger than that. I don't know the exact math, but I'm somewhere in the 60 to 65% range. Sounds about right. If my math is computing correctly, and I was no math major, but if my math was computing, that'd be about right, I believe. And a completely different style. No benefits. I work as an independent contractor, which, there's a lot of tax you have to understand there. You have to keep money back for taxes because you pay taxes at the end of the year because taxes are taken out on you. A lot of different things, right? Whole new way of life I've never had to do and deal with before, and everything. So I thought about it. Like, July 2nd's coming. What do I do? So I ended up working for him for about a month. Yes, about a month. The 30th of June, if I remember correctly, make sure I'm make sure I'm correct here. Yes, the 30th of June. I've got my calendar right in front of me. The 30th of June was a Monday. July 2nd was a Wednesday. The Friday, which would have been the 27th. Yes, 27th. I got a message from my work from UPS saying, "Hey, you're coming back on Monday, not Wednesday." So my time frame got moved from July 2nd to June 30th. Like, shoot, what do I do? Because I continued working and I really enjoyed what I was doing. Really enjoyed what I was doing. Like, man, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? How do I do this? You know, I'm like, do I take a chance? Do I take a chance do I bet on myself? And I take a chance with this company. I don't make nowhere near the amount of money like I was making at UPS. No benefits. Like I said, whole new way of thinking and going about day-to-day financial life. Way out of my comfort zone. Do I take a chance or do I go back to a thing that I know I don't like the job, but I understand the finances and I understand the taxes of it all, and there's benefits there, and there's place to grow there. I say grow, but financially I'd have been okay, taken care of. Or I stay with this company and I take a chance and I don't know what the world's going to happen here. And that decision weighed hard on me because you don't want to make the wrong one. I prayed about it and asked about it. I don't know what to do. And it was quiet for a little bit still. Until one day, and it was later on that Friday afternoon. It wasn't quite Friday evening yet, but Friday afternoon, it felt like a still small voice told me, you already know what you're going to do. You know what the right answer to this question is. That's where I had to, that's when everything hit me at that point in time. And I knew what I was going to do. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew it was the right answer. I've been asking and I've been asking and I've been asking. I knew what the right answer was, but I was scared to death to do it. And that was stick and take a chance and just follow the opportunity God gave me. Boy, it was hard. It was hard. But I finally made up my mind. I said, okay, God, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know what in the world is going to happen after today, but the opportunity's here. It's very apparent to me. I'm going to take it. Just hold me. Just hold. I need some, help me out, brother. I need something, man. And I just need just some strength here throughout this thing. So I filled out a letter of resignation. And that Monday, I went and had a meeting with UPS, and I handed them that resignation. It was an emotional experiment, or I can say experiment, but experience, I guess you could say. Some tears were shed between me and supervisor over there, and gave me a big hug. It was a good time. But I knew what I was doing was what I had to do. And I guess honestly, I'm thinking here what the title of this thing is, just being willing. The willing to be okay to not know, I guess. I don't know, something in that nature. But since that's happened, my life's pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty fun. I've been working hard on the YouTube channels, Hill Brothers as well, which is growing day by day, which I'm very thankful for that. And then also this channel, which I hadn't saw you guys in a month. It's been a very busy month, if you will. Busy, a lot of decisions, and I knew I wanted to talk to you guys about this. And I say all of that to say this. My experience in everything that I went through, and I've kind of laid it out for you guys, and it's about as much detail as I'll get into at this point in time. Maybe later on down the road, we can get into a little bit more detail if you guys want to. If you're still here with me, 40 minutes into this thing. But I say all that to say this. No matter where you're at in life, and I wholeheartedly believe this now, I honestly believe this more now than ever, just because I'm in the middle of living it. Everybody always says, "Oh man, you can go take out the world. You can go do anything you want to." And yeah, we always like that. We like that motivation and everything. When it comes time to make that decision to do it, that's when palms get sweaty, backsides get tight, and you're like, yeah, you come up with every excuse in the world. The podcasts that we did on this channel were not by chance. They were done strategically because they were specifically addressing things in my life that I had questions on. What do I do? How do I do it? How do I confront myself? What about myself am I not confronting that maybe what you're saying will confront me and help me realize that, if that makes sense? And a lot of this stuff happened, and I kept making excuses, going back to Vince, a ton of excuses about, not going after the things that I wanted to do in my life and not being willing to just let go. And letting go of the comfortable little nest egg that I had built was difficult. But honestly, as I sit here right now, I wouldn't change it for the world. A lot of prayer went into it. I don't get through this without God. And honest, I don't. Not a bit. And the reason for that is because I wasn't the one that was keeping me calm. He was. I wasn't the one that was just helping me little day by day, just get up. And even when I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing, just to keep me moving, he did that. He provided the opportunities for me to still have some revenue coming in when I had nothing, and I tried to get other jobs. I did. I was a little bit picky. I ain't gonna say a little bit. I was really picky because I don't want to go from deadbeat job to, I'd say deadbeat, meaningless job in my eyes to another meaningless job in my eyes. I'm very picky in that. So I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? Just trying everything in the world. But he just kind of kept calming down, like, it's all right, kid. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be good here. You good. I need you to focus in on me. And for those of you that may be out there right now that are maybe in that season of life where you are in a situation, you feel like God's got you in a place you just don't understand, you don't get it, even though it's really painful to do it, just step back and say, okay, what would you have me do today? And keep asking yourself that question every day, and he's going to lead you where he wants you to be if you just be willing. Just be willing. How about that? I think that's the title of this thing. Just be willing. I like that. But that's what it was for me. Just being willing. And those three words are the hardest. They are. And you have to wake up every day and just say, all right, just here. And it's painful to do that. Because again, I'm a guy that likes the ball in my hands. I like having that. Just being willing was so hard, but so worth it in the end for me. And now I'm in a spot right now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's very fascinating what I'm doing. It's kind of funny at how What I'm doing, I've somewhat been around my entire life, just didn't know. You really didn't think much about it. And it's a late night and I'm trying to yawn uh, at this time. I didn't know I'd be going for almost an hour here. Um, but to say the least, it's been a crazy 2025. From coming in, pretty exciting. Career wise, not so much, to being extremely down. I'm bad down. I was bad. I was down pretty bad. I was a lost little puppy there for a little while. But just being willing. It is a hard thing to do, but and something I've never been able to do. But these series of events, there was no way I could get through without God just saying, "Hey, like I've got you," and He's showing me that, and He'll do that if you're willing. He'll show you the way, little by little, and He'll give you the answer in the time in which you're supposed to have it. But He'll give you the answer, and He'll see you through each and every day. So yeah, to 2025. I'm out of coffee, but to 2025. It's been a great year. I didn't think I could say that. It's been a very interesting year. It has been one of the most fascinating years of my life. Probably my most fascinating year of all time has been this year, my 25th year. So I'm excited to see what happens, from here. I don't think the story's over. There's a lot more to this story to be told in due time, I'm sure. And when it happens, we'll talk about it. But just be willing. Just be willing to just not know, to follow, and to give up the ball. That's hard, I know, but it's worth it in the end. I'd say that much now. But I hope you guys have been enjoying this. If you guys made it this far, you're crazy, but I love you. I tell you, man. You know a little bit more about me now, and um, this is stuff I haven't talked about publicly with anybody. And more yawns, good stuff. That lets me know it's time to wrap this thing up. But for those that know me, that have been seeing what's been happening around, but just didn't know the details, maybe know a little bit more now. And maybe it can be, maybe through all this, I pray that it's a benefit to somebody, as it was for me. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for watching. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for listening to me all this time, and go out there and go check out some of the other podcasts, man. Vince, Trent, Wes, some of the older ones with Tori, all really good. I really enjoyed those. And if you want to go listen to one of the ones I've done by myself, hey, have at it. You made it through this far. Why not do it? Go listen to more of me. You might not want to do that too much. It might really hurt your brain after a while. So you've listened to this one long enough, so I would recommend you maybe wait a couple of days before you watch another one of mine. But thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you all next time.